On most days, it's hard for me to figure out who I hate more, the billionaire crowd or the tech bro crowd. Oftentimes, it's a dead heat. When it's that difficult to make a decision on who's the biggest POS around, it's time to play a game. And that game is called Who's the Biggest A-Hole? So today, I have 3 candidates for your consideration. First, we have Ryan Breslow. And for those of you who don't know who he is, he's a 30-something CEO of a tech company called Bolt. Now, Bolt lost $10 billion in its valuation. And that's when Breslow sprang back into action after a couple-year hiatus. Breslow's great idea when he came back to right the ship was to cut 30% of his workforce and, on top of that, eliminate the HR function. And when he did that, he made this stunning announcement. You know, when I fired HR, all the problems that were happening in the company disappeared. And his claim was that HR was creating problems that didn't exist. Now, after doing that, he hit the reset button in his organization. And he said people had a 90-day period to readjust to what the new normal was. He stripped out all of the benefits that the organization had and turned it into a complete hellscape. And shocker, a lot of people didn't survive that transition. Now he says that his organization is operating with a quarter of the staff and has much more energy, and it's a younger team. If this isn't the most egregious example of an uninformed and out-of-touch tech bro doing tech bro things, I don't know what is. So that's candidate number 1. Who's contestant number 2 in the biggest a-hole game? I'm sure none of you are going to be surprised that Jeff Bezos makes the list. And in fact, he makes the list because he said this. Check this out and I'll be right back.
Because people sometimes say that I don't pay taxes. That's not true. I pay billions of dollars in taxes. And it's a perfect, again, if people want me to pay more billions, then let's have that debate. But don't pretend that that's going to solve the problem. You could double the taxes I pay, and it's not going to help that teacher in Queens.
So what you just heard is Jeff Bezos saying that you could double his taxes and it wouldn't make any difference to the teacher that's out in Brooklyn. And I happen to actually agree with him. It wouldn't make any difference because he pays less than 1% in tax. And if you were to double it, it's still a drop in the bucket. So his solution is let's make sure that people that aren't making enough money don't pay taxes. Well, that's already the case. He's trying to distract you away from what the issue is. And the issue is that billionaires and the millionaire class are not paying nearly enough. So my solution to all of this is tax anyone with a net worth over $20 million at 95%. And that should return us to a society that is well-functioning and a government that works for all the people, not just the billionaire class. So we have Jeff Bezos as contestant number 2. So who's contestant number 3 in the biggest a-hole game? I nominate Mark Cuban. Now that might seem like an odd selection, right? After all, he is someone who proclaims to be on the side of the people and advocating for progressive causes. He was very active during the Kamala Harris campaign and out front as an anti-Trump flag bearer. So why is he even on this list? Well, because there's money to be made. So the diapered orange dementia patient had a press conference about his Trump RX site, and Cuban was standing alongside of him in helping push the scheme forward. And because he saw a money-making opportunity, he decided to throw his principles out the window and stand alongside the Nazi in chief. Now, let's keep in mind that Cuban is lending credibility to an orange idiot who's committed any number of war crimes in the short time that he's been in office, but more importantly, is now deeply tied to one of the world's biggest child sex trafficking rings. But that didn't matter to Cuban. He saw an opportunity to get his discount drug platform out there as a way to reduce the cost of prescriptions for the general public. Now, while that's a good cause, it's not something that requires you to stand alongside a Nazi to push it forward. And that's why Mark Cuban is contestant number 3 in the biggest asshole game. So those are your 3 contestants. Who do you pick as the biggest asshole? And is there someone else that should be on the list? Let me know.